guys, this is me, Malorian, and this video is kind of like, it's not really attached to anything, it's just an extra video, because what I want to talk about was the YouTube boycott. Now, I know this has been kind of like going for a while, and you've probably heard this from other places, but things have, escalated over the last little while, and it's starting to have some real effects, and so I want to make sure that you understand what it is, what it means for me, for others, and for yourself. Now, really what this is all about is it started off with the way that YouTube makes money. So YouTube produces these videos, well, not produces, it hosts these videos, and the way that it entices creators to make videos for them is to be able to offer them some money in return, which usually comes from advertisements. And the way that they get those is that they'll be speaking to other companies, or other companies can come to them and they'll say, hey YouTube, I want to have this commercial for this. And they'll say, how much do you want to pay? And if they say lots, then that's great. I'm going to show you, I'm going to put you in all the biggest, most popular videos. If they're like, oh, I'm going to pay a little bit, okay, sure. I'm going to put you on some of the least popular videos. Okay, sure. So advertisers pay all their money to YouTube. Then YouTube says, all right, what channels do we have that are making great content? I'm going to give you better stuff if you got a better channel, and off we go. And everyone makes money, everyone's happy. Well, unfortunately what happened is that there started to be a little bit of debate over it, because of course there's lots of content over YouTube. There is the stuff where it's like, hey, this is how I do my hair, to guys like me trying to do this stuff, to a lot larger videos and channels as well, right? Of course, we know the ones out there that have millions and millions of subscribers, and they're making this huge content, and of course, that's the ones where like you see like Pepsi show up, or like big movies, or whatever, right? The people who pay the big bucks are going to the big channels. Well, sometimes some of the stuff that gets seen a whole bunch is the stuff that's being seen because of shock factor, right? The people who are there saying, I hate all the Jews, I'm part of the KKK, and we should kill them all. Now, the problem is that if you go and you're attaching those advertisements to them, there's a question of like, well, do these people want to be associated with that? And that's where all of a sudden YouTube started defending themselves and trying to start demonetizing different videos. And then the next step in that whole tale was then, well, in mind here, even though I'm talking about Jews, I'm talking in this video about how we should be more, any racism and all that stuff is ridiculous. Look at these people that are speaking out. Look at these Nazis that are speaking out against the Jewish people. I can't believe this is so bad and still here. I thought this was a thing that's long past. Here's my video. Great video. However, because they're being tagged in there talking about, Nazis and Jews and so forth, boom, they're being tagged and being demonetized. Now that's a story that we talked about a while ago, but what this is now turned into is actually a YouTube boycott. So, of course, YouTube tried to do their thing, right, to try and demonetize the stuff that's not supposed to be really wanting to show off these ads, right? That was their way of doing it, but companies have now come forward and say, you know what, enough, I just don't want my stuff being shown here, I don't want this stuff here in the spotlight in these regards, so I'm pulling out. I don't want you, YouTube, to be showing any of my content or my ads anymore, because I'm worried that you can't handle whatever you're doing there, and so yeah, no money for you. So if these were small things, right? If this was Jimmy's ice cream shop from small town Minnesota, whatever, right? It's not going to really affect the top dollar. However, unfortunately for YouTube and everyone else, it's been some of the larger companies. There's been quite a few. I don't know what the full list is up to now, but it keeps on growing and growing and growing. Now, when this big money isn't coming into YouTube, this means that now this big money isn't going out to the actual content providers. So this is hurting pretty much everyone. Now, how does it affect? So there's the story. There's where it started and how we got to now. Well, actually, there's one more step, but we'll talk about it in a second. So the first thing I want to talk about is, how's it affecting me? It really isn't. Just to kind of show you where I'm standing with this whole thing, I do not make my living from YouTube. I do not come on here and be like, okay, I gotta get this best content because this is how I put food on the table. This is something I do extra on top of my job, right? I go to my job, I do all that fun stuff there, come home, play with my wife and family and kids, I have my own hobbies, and one of my other hobbies is doing this YouTube channel because I find it fun, and we've gone over this. Now, I do make money from this, but it's not a lot. It's very, very little. You know, it's the type of thing where I think at this point now I'm making like $100 every 2 months type thing, right? So it's nothing where it's nice, it's great, but it's nothing that's really like, you know, I can't really depend on it to keep me surviving. Now, has it affected me? Sure, yeah, my earnings are down, but for the most part, these larger ones, these larger advertisements, were being put on my videos anyway, right? They're not looking for people that are, you know, if you're not at least getting, say, like 10,000 views on a video, you're not being affected by this. That's what it really comes down to, right? You're getting probably all the other ads and you're getting money from that, but I mean, you're not really seeing a huge hit. So even if I did see a huge hit on the amount that I'm taking in from this, it wouldn't really affect me. Now, how is it affecting others? It's affecting others in a very big way. And by others, I mean other YouTube producers. Because for them, some of these people live off this, right? And you can always talk about like, well, okay, sure. Well, some of these people are making millions of dollars doing like video game reviews or whatever. They could probably stand making a little bit less money. And there's a little bit of jealousy there, I feel. But the big thing is that sure, you know, this is their product. They do this to make a lot of money, so they take a hit. You know, sure, maybe it's making them back to reality, but there's a lot of other people that, hey, they've taken that jump. I thought about taking that jump, and it just, the numbers weren't there, but for other people, they're like, okay, let's do this, and they have a great channel, and they do a great job, and they decide, you know what, this is my life now. This is how I'm going to make my money. Now, of course, it changes by person to person, but the numbers that I've been generally hearing is that people's earnings are down roughly by like a third. I've heard some stuff where it's down by like 50%, and I think that's more of an exaggeration, but who knows, maybe it is. But either way, if you think of your job at home, right? If your boss came into you and said, you know what, you're making a third less now. Wait a second, no, I have bills to pay, I have my family, I have this and this and this, I'm budgeted for this amount and I cannot handle making a third less. And this is how it is for some other YouTubers right now, where they have, this is their life, and now they've been told because of all this stuff out of their control that now it's down. Like it was one thing before where if you made a channel and you were really edgy and talking about these topics, that okay, maybe you would be demonetized just because you're getting trapped in those things, or just because you had it in the tags that you're getting caught for it. But now this is a person where, hey, I had a great channel, I was doing great, this is a dream story, but because I was doing so well and I was then getting ads from so-and-so, because so-and-so pulled out their ads, now there's not that really great money to be passed on to me, and they're being hurt by this because of that. So, for the most part, how other people are being affected by this is that their wallets are being hurt and they're not making as much money, and that can be really bad for them. Now, what does this mean for you? Well, for the most part, as a viewer, right, as a person who just watches YouTube, doesn't have your own channel, it means absolutely nothing. Nothing matters to you whatsoever. You walk in, you watch videos, and it doesn't really matter what happens in the background. You just watch the stuff you like. Now, the thing where I was saying where there's really one more step in the story that is going to affect you is the fact that now as a YouTube producer, there's people who are starting to back out. People who used to make great, amazing things are starting to close shop. Now, some of this at first was kind of seen like, okay, it's the sky is falling, blah, blah, blah. But really, you know, when you look at this stuff, it's like, you know, if you are really looking at this and this is going to be the end of it, where these people who are paying for sponsorship are not coming in anymore, and now you just can't be affording to do your life like you used to, maybe that is where you have to make the call, where you're not going to be doing your channel anymore. So the way that you're being affected by this is that if they decide because of this lost money that they're going to close their channel, well, all of a sudden this great channel that you used to watch before just doesn't have the content for you. Of course, there's also the other ways that people go to be making money as well, right? If people are really big and they're doing merchandise, you know, they might push that, but more likely it's going to be pushing to things like Patreon and stuff like that. Now this is a whole different debate and topic that we talked about before about free content and there being, you know, I should be able to get things for free. I just shouldn't have to be going in for Patreon. You know, there's all this whole like YouTube Red and stuff where you'd have to pay extra, and there's all these other extra services where you could be paying money for premium content, but a lot of people come here for YouTube because they want the free content. So how is that really going to work? Now, what that means is that if you're a person who are like, well, no, I just want to go to YouTube and I want things to be free, the good stuff might not be free anymore, right? The people who are there making this good content, in order for themselves to be able to put food on the table and pay for their mortgage and their kids and all that stuff, they might have to move to this sort of a basis. We're like, okay, maybe even if they do have a little bit of free content on YouTube, if you want to get the good stuff, you got to pay on Patreon. And, you know, maybe that's one way to go, but man, is it really an unfortunate way for things to go? And that's why I think that I want to do this video, and I'm sure I'm only going to get this out to a few hundred people, but if lots of people try and share this word, the whole idea is that YouTube really is an amazing place, a spot where you can go on and be getting all this content for free. And if all of a sudden it starts disappearing because either A, people close down their channels and they move away, or B, because they say, you know what, free doesn't work for me anymore, I'm going to have to shut this down and make it a part of, you know, Patreon or something else, yeah, that's really going to be an issue, right? So what can you do? What's the whole point? Am I just telling this tale and it's like, oh, the sky's falling? Well, no, there is something you can do. I mean, really, you know, Jimmy and the Sticks can't go and change these big things that are happening, right? They can't say, you, make sure you keep up your advertisements with YouTube. What you can do, though, is that if you're a person who has various channels that you like, right? Let's say I don't want to give any examples because I'm not trying to plug anyone here, but if there was a big channel you're going to before, and you're like, you know what, I don't even need to be subscribed to these people, I don't need to like these people, because, you know, they're always going to be there. Now's the time to do that. There's going to be people out there who are assessing and trying to decide whether they should be staying into this or moving to a different model. Now's the time to show your support. Now's the time to subscribe to these videos. Make sure that if there's any videos you actually like, that you like them, right? YouTube's monetization process is also really put into the whole fact whether you comment and you like. So if you can be pushing that for the channels you like, that can help balance things out, right? So if you want people, you know, YouTube creators to be staying with this model, like, hey, here's content out there for you free to watch, well, support them in doing this, right? Subscribe to their channels, like their channels, and comment. Of course, you know, I always want to say that about my channel too, right? Like, come on, subscribe and like and comment. But again, this is not going to have a major effect on me. I'm not the one who's being affected. It's all these other channels where they depend on this for a living. So there you go. There's the YouTube boycott. Who knows if there will be another chapter in this where, you know, if it goes too far and too many people pull out their stuff. Like, imagine a world where if YouTube isn't making their money because all of their sponsors and so forth pull out, well, what if YouTube just went away, right? What type of platform would we move to next? You know, these are all things where it's like, sky's the falling and it's the future, blah, blah, blah. But who knows? This is the current situation right now, and all we can do is those little bits, like I said. Go to the channels you like and subscribe, like, and comment. So there you go, guys. And also, I mean, you can always, in the comments, give them support, too. Like, please stay, and whatever you want to say. But there you go, guys. Thanks for watching, and otherwise, I'll keep on making my silly little videos like I always do. Catch you later. Bye.